In 1757, the fields of Plassey witnessed a battle that would change the destiny of a subcontinent. The British East India Company, a trading firm, defeated the Nawab of Bengal, Siraj-ud-Dowlah. It was a victory won not just by arms, but by treachery. The British came to trade, but now they ruled. The merchants had become masters. This victory handed them the keys to Bengal, one of the richest provinces in the world. What followed was not prosperity, but plunder. Their companies, officials and their local agents began a relentless campaign of wealth extraction. Taxes on farmers skyrocketed, pushing millions into poverty. Imagine a farmer, toiling under the scorching sun, only to see his entire harvest taken away, to pay a tax he couldn't afford. Famines, once rare, became tragically frequent. The Great Bengal Famine of 1770 was a man-made catastrophe, where nearly a third of the population perished while the company's coffers swelled. India's famed industries, especially its vibrant textile trade, were systematically dismantled. Artisans who once wove the finest fabrics in the world found themselves unemployed, their looms silent. British-made cloth flooded the markets, destroying local livelihoods. On a map, you could see the change. What started as small coastal trading posts began to bleed red across the subcontinent. From Bengal, the company's influence spread like a wildfire. But India did not submit quietly. Resistance flared up across the land. In the south, the tiger of Mysore, Tipu Sultan, fought with unmatched ferocity. He saw the British for what they were, a threat to his kingdom and his people. His rockets terrified British soldiers, and his courage became legendary. He famously said, "It is far better to live like a lion for a day than to live like a jackal for 100 years. Though he ultimately fell, his defiance inspired generations. In the West, the powerful Maratha Confederacy presented a formidable challenge. For decades, they fought a series of brutal wars against the company. Their cavalry was legendary, their leaders astute. Battles raged across central India, a testament to Maratha strength and determination. In the north, the Sikh Empire, under the leadership of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, held the British at bay for years, building a powerful modern army. These were not easy conquests. Every inch of land was paid for in blood, a story of Indian valor against superior British organization and cunning diplomacy. Yet, slowly, inevitably, the red on the map expanded through a mix of direct conquest, broken treaties, and clever political maneuvering, like the doctrine of lapse, which annexed states without a natural heir. The company absorbed kingdom after kingdom. Alongside conquest came a new kind of transformation. The British brought with them the tools of a modern industrial state, but these tools were double-edged swords. The railway network, a marvel of engineering, crisscrossed the subcontinent. Officially, it was to facilitate trade and prevent famine. Reality, it allowed for the rapid movement of troops to quell rebellions and for the efficient transport of raw materials out of India to British factories. The telegraph lines that connected distant cities were instruments of control, allowing the British to communicate instantly and coordinate their administration. English education was introduced, creating a class of Indians who could serve the colonial administration. But this education also introduced ideas of liberty, equality, and nationalism, ideas that would ironically fuel the desire for independence. While these changes were happening on the surface, a deep undercurrent of resentment was building. For 100 years, Indians had watched their wealth being drained, their kings dethroned, and their industries destroyed. Now, they feared something more precious was under attack: their faith and culture. Missionaries became more active, and traditional customs were criticized. A sense of cultural and religious anxiety gripped the people. Priests and mullahs warned their communities that their dharma and their deen were in danger. In the villages and city bazaars, whispers turned into angry murmurs. The air was thick with tension, a powder keg waiting for a spark. That spark came in 1857. It came in the form of a new rifle cartridge for the sepoys, the Indian soldiers in the company's army. A rumor spread like wildfire through the barracks. The cartridges were greased with the fat of cows and pigs. For Hindu soldiers, the cow was sacred. For Muslim soldiers, the pig was unclean. To bite the cartridge, as was required to load the rifle, would be a defilement of their faith. It was the ultimate insult, a confirmation of their deepest fears that the British intended to destroy their religions. In the military cantonment of Barakpur, a young sepoy named Mangal Pandey could bear it no longer. On March 29, 1857, he openly rebelled, firing at his British officers. P.O. He was quickly captured and executed, but his act of defiance lit the fuse. He became a martyr, a symbol of resistance. Weeks later, in the city of Meerut, soldiers who refused the cartridges were publicly humiliated and imprisoned. Their comrades, enraged, broke open the jails, killed their British officers, and marched to the ancient capital of Delhi. The rebellion had begun. What followed was not just a mutiny, but a widespread popular uprising. 2. The rebels declared the frail 82-year-old Mughal emperor, Bahadur Shah Zafar, as their leader, a symbolic gesture to restore pre-British authority. From Delhi, the flames of revolt spread across northern India. In Kanpur, Nana Sahib led the charge, seeking to reclaim his lost inheritance. In Lucknow, Begum Hazrat Mahal governed in the name of her young son, leading a fierce resistance. And then there was Jhansi. Here the indomitable Rani Lakshmi, Bai, a queen who had been unjustly stripped of her kingdom, became the heart and soul of the rebellion. Dressed as a man, with her adopted son tied to her back, she led her army into battle with breathtaking courage. Her name became synonymous with heroism, an icon of Indian freedom. Figures like Tunsha Tope, a brilliant guerrilla tactician, kept the British forces on their toes for months, orchestrating daring raids and inspiring hope. The war was brutal and merciless on both sides. Cities became battlegrounds. The siege of Delhi lasted for months, a bloody struggle for control of the symbolic heart of India. The British, initially caught off guard, responded with overwhelming and often indiscriminate force. They brought in reinforcements, and their retaliation was savage. Cities like Delhi and Lucknow were sacked, their populations massacred. The violence was a spiral of revenge, with atrocities committed by both sides, leaving a deep and lasting scar of bitterness. Ultimately, the rebellion was crushed. The rebels, though brave, were disunited. They lacked a central command, a unified vision, and modern weaponry. The British, with their superior organization, resources, and ruthless strategy, methodically retook every rebel stronghold. The aftermath was a somber end to an era. The last Mughal emperor, Bahadur Shah Zafar, was captured, tried for treason, and exiled to Rangoon in Burma. His sons were executed, bringing the once mighty Mughal dynasty to a tragic, ignominious end. His final mournful poetry from exile speaks of his heartbreak for his lost homeland. The East India Company, the trading firm that had ruled a subcontinent for a century, had proven itself incapable of governing. Its authority had crumbled in the face of the rebellion. In London, the British Parliament decided that a company of merchants could no longer be trusted with an empire. In 1858, the company was officially dissolved. Its logo, once a symbol of immense power, faded into history. Queen Victoria issued a proclamation, and the governance of India was transferred directly to the British Crown. A new chapter had begun. The rule of the company was over. The era of the British Raj had officially started. The rebellion of 1857 had failed to win freedom. But it had forged a new sense of Indian identity and lit a fire for independence that would not be extinguished for another 90 years. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey through history compelling, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell for more stories that shaped our world. See you next time.